Hi Year 4 and welcome to today's Maths Super Challenge video. Now this video today is for children who tried the Super Challenge yesterday. So those children who were trying out using a three-armed part-whole diagram for division. If you didn't do that yesterday, then what you need to do today is go to Google Classroom, and there are links in today's lesson for you to go and watch a different video on a website called White Rose. It'll be really useful for you, and there are sheets to go with that as well. If you did the Super Challenge yesterday, then welcome along. Today we're going to be having a look at how we can use this three-part part-whole diagram for division, but also looking at a different method as well, which can be a lot quicker. If you get partway through or all the way through this video today and you find it just a little bit too tricky, don't worry. There's a reason this is called the Super Challenge. It is more difficult. If that's the case, just go back to Google Classroom and click on the link for the White Rose videos and have a go at those today instead. That's absolutely fine. The first thing we're going to do today is we're going to quickly recap what we did yesterday, and then I'm going to show you this new method using what we did yesterday to help us. So yesterday we looked at questions like 92 divided by 4, and we looked at how we could use this part-whole diagram to help us solve it. So the 92 is our whole, that's our whole amount that we start with, so that goes up at the top. And we try and think of a good way to split 92, to partition it into multiples of 4 that will be easier to help us out. Now I know that 10 fours are 40, but that would leave 52 in this circle here. So can you think of a better multiple that we could put into this circle? Yeah, I've put 80, because I know that if 10 fours are 40, then 20 times 4 is 80. So I've written that underneath. So if I've used up 80, how many more have I got left out of my 92? Well, I've got 12 left. And how many 4s make 12? It's 3 times 4, so we put that underneath as well. So we've split up our 92 into 20 lots of 4 and 3 lots of 4. So if we've got 20 lots and 3 lots, then in total, how many lots of 4 do we have? Well, we've got 23. So that's what we did yesterday. Now I'm going to show you this new method that we've got, and it's called chunking. And it's the same sort of thing, but set out in a different way, and you don't have to draw any circles. So what we do is we start with our 92, like we did before. We started with our 92. And this time, again, we think about what the biggest multiple of 4 is that we know. And again, we know that 40 is 10 times 4, but 80 is better because that's more of it. So 80 was 20 times 4. And what we do is we take it away. And that's what we do to work out how much is left for this part here. And we put next to it that that's 20 times 4 in the same way that we wrote it underneath this circle. And so 92 take away 80 leaves us with 12. So that's like this circle here. So what can we do with 12? Well, we know it's 3 times 4. So we can take that off as well. 3 4s are 12, so we take it off. That leaves us with nothing. So we've used up our entire 92 in 2 steps. We took away 20 times 4, which is 80, and then we took away 3 times 4, which is 12. So to find our answer, we need to use this number and this number. We've got 20 lots and we've got 3 lots, just like we did over here. So that makes 23. So that's chunking. All it is just subtracting the amounts that you would put in these circles, subtracting the biggest multiples of 4 we can each time to get all the way to 0 until we've used all of them up. And then we can work out how many lots we have. Try doing that with this one. So we've got 87 divided by 3. So start with your 87 at the top and then take away a big multiple of 3, a big chunk. That's why it's called chunking. We're taking away these chunks each time. Pause the video and have a go, and then come back and we'll look at it together. Right, let's see. So we start with 87, and we need a big chunk to take away. Well, we're working in threes. We're dividing by 3. So I know 10 threes are 30, but that would still leave me with quite a lot. Do I know any bigger than that? Well, 2 threes are 6, so 20 threes are 60. Maybe I could use 60. Let's have a look. We'll take it away. Yeah, 20 lots of 3. And that leaves me with 27 left. So if we're picturing our circles, we would have 27 in that second circle. So how many threes are 27? What big chunk can we take away next? Well, by knowing my 3 times table, I know that 9 threes are 27. So we can take away the whole chunk all at once. And we just put 9 threes at the side. And then that leaves us with 0. We've got nothing left. We've used up our whole 87 and we've divided it by 3. So to find our answer, we need to look at this part here. So that was 20 times 3. And this one is 9 times 3. So in total, we've got 29 lots of 3. If you want a bit more practice with this before we move on to the 3-digit numbers, then pause the video here and come up with some 2-digit numbers to divide by an easy times table. And you can always check your answers by using a calculator afterwards. Ready for the next challenge? Okay, this is the one we're going to look at first. 573 divided by 3. Now this is where I show you how a 3-armed part-whole diagram can be useful for this. We put 573 at the top as we usually would, but what we're going to do with the 3 circles underneath is think of them kind of as how many hundreds lots of 3s we can do. Then we're going to try and multiply it by a tens number, and then just use our ones number or our units number. So let me show you what I mean. I've got 3 that I'm dividing by. How many hundred lots of 3 can I fit in 573? Well, I know that 100 times 3 is 300. I know that 200 times 3 is 600, but 600 is too many because I've only got 573. So I'm going to put 300 in that first circle. And that's 100 times 3, and I write that underneath. So how many have I got left now? Pause the video and do a quick subtraction to work out how many I still have left to go. Have you got it? So I've got 273 left. So how am I going to put those into here? Well, let's think about tens numbers. Well, 10 threes are 30. That's really not enough. I've got 273 to get rid of here. So 23s are 60, 33s are 90. If we keep counting up, I know that 90 times 3 is 270 because it's like 9 threes are 27. So I can put 270 in that one circle, and I can show that that's 90 times 3. So how many have I got left for my final circle? Do a quick subtraction to work it out. You could probably do this one in your head. 273, take away 270. I did a little column subtraction and my answer is 3. So I've got 3 left to put in this circle. And how many lots of 3 make 3? Well, that's easy. 1. So I've now split my number 573 into 3 pieces, and I've got 100 lots of 3, I've got 90 lots of 3, and I've got 1 lot of 3. So those are the 3 numbers I look at to find my answer. So 573 divided by 3 is 191. There we go. We could also use chunking to work this out as well, by remember repeatedly subtracting those big chunks of the 3 times table. So this was what we did just now. This is our chunking. Have a go before I show you. Pause the video and see if you can work out what my chunking will look like for this calculation. Let's see. So we start with 573, and I know that 100 times 3 is 300, so I'm going to take that away first. But it's really important that I put this bit at the side, this bit in red here, because that tells me how many lots of 3 I've taken at once. So I've got 273 left. And then, well, I know that 90 times 3 is 270, so I can take that away next. And that leaves me with 3. And I know that 1 times 3 is 3, so I can take that away. And I have to keep subtracting until I get all the way to 0, because I need to use up all of my 573. And then we just add together the numbers we have here. We took 100 lots of 3, 90 lots of 3, and 1 lot of 3 to make 191 as our answer. But what if you don't know that 90 times 3 is 270? What if you can only do smaller chunks than that? Well, you can do it differently. So this is the one we did just now with the 3 chunks, but it doesn't matter how many chunks you take away as long as you keep going until you get to 0. Here I've done the same calculation, but this time when I got to this point, I wasn't quite so sure. So I knew that 50 lots of 3 was 150, so I took that away instead. And then I had 123 left. And I knew that 40 times 3 was 120, so I took that away. As long as you keep going until you get to 0, and then you add up all of these lots of 3 that you've taken, you'll still get the same answer. Because 100, 50, 40, and 1 all add together to make the same amount as 100, 90, and 1. It all works, you've just got to keep taking away until you get to 0. Let's try this one. So this is 688 divided by 4. Make sure you've got your pen and paper there because we're going to do this one together. Pause the video at any moments you need to so that you can write down the calculations. We're going to start with 688 at the top. But we can do 100 lots of 4. Could we do 200 lots of 4? We do 300 lots of 4? Have a think and work out what we need to subtract first. You're right, we can't do 200 lots of 4 because that's 800. That's too many. We've only got 688. But we can take away 100 times 4, which is 400. Remember to write that at the side of your calculation so that you know how many lots of 4 we've taken so far. And how many are we left with? Let's see. 288. So we've taken a really big chunk out of our number, but we've still got quite a bit to go. What could we take away next? Well, there are lots of different answers for this. You might take away 50 lots of 4, which is 200, and that's okay. I'm going to go a little bit further than that because I know that because 7 4s are 28, 70 times 4 is 280, which is almost the perfect number here. So I'm going to take that away and I've got 70 times 4 at the side. So do that subtraction and work out how many more I have left. Yep, I've got 8 left. If you took away 50 lots of 4, then you've got an extra step to do, but you can now take away another 20 lots of 4, which is 80. That will then get you to the same step that we're at with just 8 left. So how many lots of 4 make 8? Yeah, 2. So we can take away 2, and that leaves us with 0. So we've completely finished. We just need to add up the amounts that we have in here. We had 100 lots of 4, 70 lots of 4, and 2 lots of 4. So that gives us a final answer of 172. Well done if you got there. Again, don't worry if you're finding it really tricky. This is a brand new thing. And we'll do much more of this when we go back into the classroom later in the year. If you took smaller chunks away, this would be what your calculation looks like. So that 50 lots of 4 is 200, and then the 20 lots of 4 there. Now you could, if you were really unsure, you could do it in really little chunks. So you might do 688 here and take away 100 lots of 4, but then you might just take away 10 lots of 4 each time. But that would lead to a very long calculation. If you look here, I've got so many subtractions until I get all the way down to 8 and then get all the way to 0. And if I add up all of those, I still get 172. We've got 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, 170, 172. So even if you just take away 10 lots every time, it still works. This method still works. It's just that you end up with a really long calculation. Well done if you're still with me today. That was really quite tricky stuff to get your head around. But if you're up for it and you think you understand chunking, then have a go at this challenge. I want you to have a go at using chunking to solve these 4 calculations. Remember, it doesn't matter how many chunks you have to take away, as long as you get to 0 at the end. And just subtract the biggest chunks that you know. Good luck with this today, and I'll see you again tomorrow for maths that isn't quite as complicated. Bye.